The air in Asmara that April morning was thick with history, decades of isolation, sanctions, and suspicion. The city, with its faded grandeur and quiet resilience, seemed to hold its breath, waiting for something to change. For years, Eritrea had been a land apart, its people accustomed to watching the world move on without them. Then, a handshake between a European Union envoy and an Eritrean official signaled a seismic shift. It was more than a diplomatic gesture. It was a moment heavy with possibility, hinting at a future where Eritrea might finally step out of the shadows. After years as a pariah, Eritrea was being brought in from the cold. The corridors of power in Asmara echoed with cautious optimism, as old adversaries sat across the table for the first time in decades. Europe's old policy of condemnation and containment had failed. A new, pragmatic approach was needed. The stakes were too high for stubbornness or pride. This wasn't charity, it was urgent self-interest. The Red Sea's shipping lanes, vital to global commerce, were increasingly at risk. The Horn of Africa teetered on the brink of catastrophic war, threatening global trade through the Red Sea. Instability here could send shockwaves through markets and capitals far beyond Africa. Europe could no longer afford a black hole of influence in such a critical location. The cost of inaction was simply too great, and the risks too immediate to ignore. The symbolism was clear. The era of Eritrea's isolation was over. The world's attention was now fixed on Asmara, and the stakes had never been higher. Team Europe arrived not to lecture, but to propose partnership based on mutual interests. This was a new kind of diplomacy, one that recognized Eritrea's strategic importance and the need for cooperation. It was a gamble, a bold departure from established policy. Both sides knew the risks, but also the potential rewards. The handshake was the opening move in a high-stakes game that could stabilize the region or legitimize a repressive regime. Every word, every gesture carried weight. The consequences would ripple far beyond the Red Sea. What happened in Eritrea would shape the future of the Horn, and perhaps the world. The world was watching, waiting to see if this new dawn would bring hope or simply more uncertainty. Eritrea's new importance to Europe comes down to one word: geography. But it's not just about where Eritrea sits on the map. It's about what that location means in a rapidly changing world. Its 1,000-kilometer Red Sea coastline overlooks the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for global trade and energy. Every day, millions of barrels of oil and countless containers pass through these waters, linking Europe to Asia and beyond. Whoever controls this coast holds a powerful card in global logistics and security. The ability to disrupt or protect these routes can shift the balance of power far beyond Africa. Europe once relied on alliances and naval patrols, but instability and regional conflicts have exposed the fragility of this system, making old assumptions obsolete. The EU's maritime security mission, EUNAVFOR Aspides, depends on stable partners on the ground. Without local cooperation, even the most advanced fleets are limited in what they can achieve. A hostile Eritrea is a threat. A cooperative one could anchor the southern Red Sea, providing stability where it's needed most. Beneath the waves, the Red Sea's seabed is laced with fiber optic cables, vital for Europe-Asia data. These cables carry everything from financial transactions to government communications. Disruption here would be catastrophic for Europe's economy and security, threatening everything from internet access to energy supplies. The EU now prioritizes securing these lifelines, requiring Eritrea's cooperation. Diplomatic engagement is intensifying, with European officials making frequent visits to Asmara. Human rights concerns remain, but are now balanced against urgent strategic needs. The calculus has shifted. Stability and access are now at the forefront. Pragmatism, not idealism, is driving Europe's outreach. In today's world, hard realities are shaping foreign policy, and Eritrea's role is suddenly too important to ignore. In Asmara, traditional aid was off the table. The city, with its unique blend of history and resilience, set the tone for a different kind of engagement, one that would challenge old assumptions about development. Eritrea's government rejects the donor-recipient model, insisting on self-reliance. For Eritrean leaders, dignity and sovereignty are non-negotiable, shaping every negotiation and partnership. The EU sidestepped this by proposing investment, technology transfer, and joint ventures. Instead of handouts, the focus shifted to building capacity and fostering mutual benefit. The partnership rests on three pillars: maritime security, the blue economy, and conflict prevention. Each pillar is designed to address both Eritrea's priorities and Europe's strategic interests. Maritime security means building Eritrea's naval capacity and sharing intelligence. Securing trade for Europe, sovereignty for Eritrea. It's about protecting vital shipping lanes and ensuring stability in the Red Sea. The blue economy focuses on sustainable investment, offshore renewables, fisheries, and marine protection. This approach aims to balance economic growth with environmental stewardship. The goal is to turn Eritrea's coast into an engine of growth, aligning with global green goals. By harnessing the sea's potential, Eritrea could become a regional leader in sustainable development. Conflict prevention is urgent. The Horn risks major war over Ethiopia's quest for sea access. The region's fragile peace could unravel quickly without careful diplomacy. The EU hopes engagement with Eritrea can de-escalate tensions and promote diplomacy. By building trust, Europe aims to help prevent another devastating conflict. This is self-interest, preventing a regional fire before it spreads. Stability here means security for Europe, an opportunity for Eritrea. The stakes could not be higher. What happens next will shape not just Eritrea's future, but the fate of the entire region. Europe's economic pitch centers on Eritrea's ports, Massawa and Assab. These underused assets could become modern logistical hubs with EU investment. Upgrading infrastructure would attract shipping and serve the wider region. Revitalized ports mean jobs and revenue for Eritrea, and supply chain resilience for Europe. The EU's approach is investment, not charity. Mutual benefit, not dependency. Beyond ports, Eritrea's coastline is ideal for renewable energy projects, wind, tidal, and solar. These could power Eritrea and export clean energy to neighbors, aligning with Europe's Green Deal. This reframes the relationship business, not aid, partnership, not patronage. For Europe, it's smart power, building influence through shared prosperity. Stability is built one port, one power plant at a time. The Team Europe mission was a direct response to the drumbeat of war in the Horn. Ethiopia's desperate demand for sea access threatened to ignite a regional conflict. A war here would displace millions, trigger a refugee crisis, and destabilize global trade. The Bab el-Mandeb could become a war zone, halting shipping and sparking global recession. For Europe, preventing this nightmare is paramount. Engaging Eritrea is a race against time, a bid to defuse the bomb before it detonates. Stability in Eritrea is seen as a crucial buffer. The rhetoric is about partnership, but the driver is fear. Europe is betting that prosperity can outweigh nationalism. The mission is about protecting Europe from the fallout of regional collapse. Eritrea has quietly emerged as a regional diplomatic hub. Once isolated, Asmara now hosts envoys from South Sudan, Somalia, and Egypt. As tensions rise, Eritrea's unique position and consistent leadership make it a sought-after mediator. President Afwerki, long seen as an outlier, is now viewed as a potential peacemaker. The EU aims to amplify this role, lending legitimacy to Eritrea as a regional mediator. Brussels hopes Eritrea can broker back-channel deals, especially between Ethiopia and its neighbors. It's a calculated risk, trusting a regime with a contentious past. But the alternative, unchecked rivalries, is far more dangerous. Europe is backing African solutions with a subtle guiding hand. The EU's strategy for peace is rooted in economics, not just diplomacy. The vision, a triple connection, deep integration between Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Somalia. The logic is proven. Nations tied by trade and infrastructure are less likely to go to war. Goods from Ethiopia would flow through Eritrean ports. Investments and resources would be shared. The EU would finance the roads, railways, and digital networks to knit the region together. Eritrea is the linchpin. Without its ports, integration is impossible. Transit fees from Ethiopian trade would anchor Eritrea's economy to regional peace. The triple connection aims to replace zero-sum rivalry with shared prosperity. The EU is betting that economic development will trump nationalist conflict. The Team Europe mission is a triumph of pragmatism over ideology. The rewards: preventing war, securing trade, and building a new economic bloc. But the risks are real. Engagement could legitimize repression and fail to spark reform. Critics warn the EU may sacrifice its values for strategic gain. The plan could be derailed by mistrust or renewed conflict, leaving Europe with little to show. Is this a turning point or just another chapter in great power politics? The answer will be measured in real change for people in Eritrea and the Horn. For now, the world watches and waits.